Good morning. It's Chris with City Girl Homestead. And when I say morning, it's only 4 o'clock. So Tom's got to the park and ride, and I thought, well, let's get this done. So, first thing I'd like to thank Constance over at Cosmopolitan Cornbread for hosting this. It is hashtag March Canning Madness 2026. And if you're a channel, by all means, you can add to it anytime and she'll put you on the list. And it's really nice for all of us to get to be able to learn from other people. And so I think that's really important that, you know, we try to put that out there. And people learn different recipes and stuff. So I think that's always a good idea. She is doing a drawing at the end, and it will be for a steam canner. And also she's giving one away to all the contributors, and I think it's lids. And her lids too are superb. And that's the ones I'll be using today and always, actually. I switched to them probably almost a year ago, and I love them. They're thicker. You can hear when they pop. They're just a really good lid, and they're not manufactured in another country and then brought here to be distributed. They are actually manufactured, distributed, everything right out of Ohio. I'd like to get down there sometime and maybe see their operations. So, but I will post a link below that you can get 20% off. And actually, I priced them out the other day. It is cheaper than 4 jars. So, yesterday, if you watched my video, I made a triple batch of chili. And there's a couple reasons for that, but first, my husband loves chili. Second, I'm down to 2 quart jars on my shelf, and that's what I told you I'm trying to do, is to stock up my shelves. And chili, you can use it for, you know, like we use on chili cheese fries. You can use on chili dogs, just a bowl of chili. You can use it on salads. I mean, just the possibilities are endless. So I like to have a good majority of jars down there on the shelf for that reason, because I do cook with it more than I actually just serve chili. So we're going to stock that back up today. And I also want to do this because, you know, a lot of times you'll make a soup or something, you know, that you have lots of leftovers with. And, you know, freezer space sometimes can be very, very limited. So there's a lot of things in which you can can your leftovers. And chili is one of them. A lot of soups you can. You know, a lot of the things that you'd serve to your family, you can, you know, can up the leftovers. So nothing goes to waste, and then your whole freezer isn't filled with leftovers. So let's get busy doing this today. So now I had all that. Everything is cold, including my canner. This does have to be pressure canned because it has meat in it. And we're going to take this up to the 1-inch headspace. And I do have a towel underneath me because, you know, I can be very, very messy. But that's, they say it's a good sign, you know, if you're a messy cook. I'm going to go through and fill all these first. And then if I have some left, it determines what's for tonight's for dinner. If I don't, then I know we are doing something else. If I do, I know what dinner is. Because I am trying to, now that I've done more inventory, I am really trying to use up things that I have, etc., because you don't want it just sitting on the shelf looking pretty. But I was looking at jars. I emptied this one, actually. I bought these last year at Target, and they're purple. Aren't they pretty? Purple's my favorite color, so when I see those, and they were only like 50 cents more than regular jars, I'm like, I gotta have those. So I used them up the first day that I had them. So now I'm starting to empty them. It's nice to have them to put new food in. I like my old jars too, because people that have watched me, I think about all the families that have canned them, because I have some jars I use that are over 100 years old. And I know that because of the date on them or whatever. But, you know, I think about the families that have used them and what they might have put in them to feed their families. And it's almost like a living jar, if that makes any sense, because it's been through a lot, especially those ones that have lasted a long time. And you think about the love and the care that went into each one of those jars. Because, I mean, we stock up, of course, because we want food on our shelves, but, you know, it's also nice because we know that it's going to take care of our family. And, you know, you're canning your family's favorite foods and whatever, you know what I mean? And that's really nice. I think that's what I kind of like about canning too, because it does remind me of my mom and my grandma, but most of all, you know what's in it, and you're taking care of your family. And good times or bad, you know that your family will be provided for and taken care of. Now, I'm not going to get a full quart, but there won't be enough for me to do supper. But this is like one of the jars that I was talking about. This one doesn't have a date on it. But this one is really, really, really old. Look at that. It's really old. So I wonder how many times stuff has been canned in that. I was hoping to get a full 7 quarts, but that's okay. I don't think this will be enough for supper. It might be, but so there, right there, we got a full dinner last night, and then now we're going to have 6 meals for our families. Now, even though it's mostly liquid, obviously, you still have a hamburger and everything else in there. You want to still make sure you debubble it. And even if it was just pure liquid, you know, for safety purposes, always get in the habit of just debubbling. Because that gets all that air and everything out of there. And it makes it much safer, actually. And I just had all those paper towels. What did I do with them? Oh, they all fell on the floor. We don't want that. Must be when I moved my towel. I moved those. Yeah, I don't think that'll be enough for supper, but I'm sure Tom would be more than happy to take it to work with him. Or maybe I'll have it for my lunch. Hey, there's a thought. But make sure you clean those off really, really good. Because even after having that, there's still just that little bit on there. And believe it or not, that little bit can stop you from jars from sealing. That one I had a bunch of stuff on. Not sure how that happened, but it did. And that's the chances you don't want to take. Now, I've been trying to write what I'm doing on the top of my lids before I even put them on. But I do soak them in hot water. I know they say you don't have to do that anymore when you pressure can, but I still do. Sometimes I think there's no reason to get rid of old practices. And I'm going to put a jar or a lid and ring on this one, even though I'm not going to can it. But I'll put it in the refrigerator. And then we just want to go put our rings on there. You ever get some of those lids that just want to be a bugger to get on? Or the rings? They're like, you didn't line me up perfect. Do it again. And always just do it fingertip tight. Because if you tighten them too tight, I have had that happen when I first started canning. They will make your lids buckle. And then you've done all that work for nothing. And that sucks. We talk about that one lid. But look how beautiful that is in a jar. You know, of course, you can go to the store and you can buy the pre-made chili and all that good stuff, and it's got 10,000 different ingredients in it. Or you can make your own. And if you don't can, that's okay too. You can always freeze them up. And I've got those little freezer containers that you can put the chilies or soups and stuff in, and they work great. You freeze them up, and then you pop them out, and you can put them in a bag so you can keep reusing it. So those work really, really well too. Excuse me. So now what you're going to do is, I've got this on high. I'm going to bring it up to pressure. It's going to steam for, once it gets to steaming, a constant steam for 10 minutes. You want to time it for 10 minutes. Then it cans for 90 minutes because it's quartz. If you put it in pints, it would be 75 minutes. I could have put this in a pint and it would have been fine, but that's enough for Tom to take to lunch. So I'll let him have that for lunch. It's not going to be enough for tonight's dinner, but that's okay, because guess what? I had an alternative. So, all right. So I will let that vent for 10, cook for 90, and then I'll meet you on the other side when it's done. All right, there we go. Look how beautiful that is. Yummy, yummy chili, and everything was made from my home canned goods, which makes me feel better too. So, let it cool down before you take the lids off and everything, or the rims off. Sorry, don't take the lids off. And then you can put it on your pantry shelf. I did use my Superb lids again, and there will be a link below. Make sure you go over and look at Candace, look over at Cosmopolitan Cornbread and check out the other videos that are on there. And then I've changed my mind. Tonight I am going to use some chili because it just looks so good. And we're going to use it for tonight's dinner. So, and then Tom can still take some with him to work or whatever, but it just looks so good. I have to. I just have to. So, thanks for coming along. Make sure you go check out the other channels and the other videos. Give them likes if you really like their channel. Subscribe so that you could be entered in the drawings. But thanks for coming along with me, and you guys have an amazing day.